Imagine holding your hand an inch from your face and seeing absolutely nothing. For 99% of human history, the setting sun didn't bring relaxation. It brought a full, absolute, crushing darkness. We weren't just sitting in the woods. We were trapped in a world where every snapped twig sounded like a potential eulogy. Because humans lack night vision, we were a reasonably nutritious snack option for anything that could see in the dark. Almost every major predator of the ancient world, from the hyena to the saber-toothed cat, is crepuscular or nocturnal. When the sun went down, we were no longer the hunters. We were the ones being hunted. Survival required a wall between us and the dark. Around 400,000 years ago, we found it in fire. A campfire creates a boundary roughly 30 feet in diameter that most large predators refuse to cross. It wasn't a physical barrier, but for a leopard evolved to hunt in total shadows, an open flame is a confusing, dangerous anomaly. Fire solved the immediate threat of being eaten, but it created a new problem. Humans were now confined to a small circle of light for hours, unable to move or work. By securing our safety, we accidentally manufactured a massive surplus of unusable time. Anthropologists call this cooked time. Fire effectively added 2 to 4 usable hours to every day. You were safe and awake, but you couldn't hunt, you couldn't gather, and you couldn't travel. You were simply there, stuck in the light. For primates evolved to spend their energy on physical survival, this created a biological paradox. For thousands of generations, groups were forced to sit idle in a concentrated circle, staring at one another for hours every single night. This artificially illuminated dead time was the catalyst for a major shift in how our brains functioned. Since we couldn't be productive in the modern sense, we had to find a different way to occupy the silence. We filled those hours with conversation. By turning the night into a time for abstract connection rather than physical labor, our ancestors began to coordinate and bond through complex thought, effectively changing what it meant to be a social creature. The primary activity of cooked time was storytelling. Around the fire, humans began to narrate the world to each other, using myths and legends to explain everything from the stars above to the history of their own ancestors. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups, like the Juhowansi of the Kalahari, found a striking divide. Daytime conversation is 80% practical. It's the ancient equivalent of a Monday morning briefing on hunting and gathering logistics. But nighttime conversation is 81% storytelling. These stories weren't just entertainment. Before writing, narrative was the most efficient compression algorithm for survival. You could explain the physics of a river current, which a child might forget, or you could tell them about a hungry monster that lives in the deep water. They will remember the monster. For tens of thousands of years, the campfire was the only hard drive we had. It was where language, empathy, and cultural memory were stored and passed down, turning those dark hours into the foundation of our shared identity. This engineering of the night was highly practical. At Border Cave in South Africa, researchers found ash spread under vegetation beds from 200,000 years ago. Someone had figured out that ash acts as a chemical repellent for ticks and mites, solving a biological problem through systematic observation. The night sky became our most precise tool for navigation. Polynesian navigators used wooden outrigger canoes like this to cross thousands of miles of open Pacific. They didn't have a compass. They had a library of stars and swells, using the darkness as a high-resolution map to find pinpoints of land in a massive ocean. We assume that once these tasks were done, our ancestors laid down and slept in one solid 8-hour block. It feels like the natural, healthy way to rest. But historical records and medical texts reveal that this modern standard is actually quite recent. Our biology was never designed to sleep all the way through the night. For most of history, humans practiced biphasic sleep. They went to bed a couple of hours after dark, slept for 4 hours, and then woke up naturally. After staying awake for an hour or two, they would return for a second sleep that lasted until dawn. In 1992, Thomas Ware tested this by removing all artificial light from a group of volunteers. Within weeks, they settled into this exact 2-block pattern. During that midnight waking window, Ware found a massive spike in prolactin, a hormone associated with quiet, reflective states. This wasn't insomnia, it was a distinct state of consciousness. Prolactin is released during meditation, creating a calm, clear-headed feeling. It's an alertness most modern humans have never experienced. People used this watch in the night for everything. They tended fires, checked on livestock, prayed, or visited neighbors who were also naturally awake. It was a normal, unremarkable phase of the daily rhythm. Waking up at 3 a.m. isn't a malfunction of your body. It's an ancient biological rhythm expressing itself exactly as it has for hundreds of thousands of years. The shift happened during the Industrial Revolution. As street lamps spread and Thomas Edison commercialized the electric light bulb, we began to keep our spaces lit well into the night. We pushed our bedtimes later, compressing our sleep and eradicating the watch within a single generation. Our screens now finish the job. When blue light hits your eyes at midnight, your brain thinks the sun is up. It delays melatonin production and fragments your sleep, effectively tricking your ancient hardware into a modern state of confusion. This is why the modern 3 a.m. wake-up call feels so heavy with anxiety. You are experiencing a collision between 300,000 years of sleep biology and a world that refuses to let it be dark. When you lie awake tonight, remember that you aren't broken. You are simply experiencing the night the way your ancestors always did, quietly alert, in the dark, waiting for a morning that will always come.